So it appears that this is a substantial park with horse carriages for tourists wandering down through it. So we'll pursue this road a little bit better, and it looks like a giant square over here with fountains. So this is that beautiful tower. And look at the magnificent tile-styled pillars, not to mention this entire banister railing all about here. What a fantastic place. This reminds me of something on the scale of Versailles. And then across the street, past those gewgaw tourist shops, is that park we were talking about. Look a little bit more closely at the detail of this railing. It's all individual tile work. And if we do the same with this light standard, or light pole, notice the coloring of blue, and at the top here the yellows. Excuse me, at the bottom the yellows we saw. And then look up here on this tower, same color combination. How beautiful are the buildings. It appears any building with this kind of tiled detail treatment. Just adds so much beauty to it. And yet doesn't seem over the top. It just seems very appropriately beautiful. To be complete, I want to look at the top of these railings also. And notice that that's a tile type of style. And this square in front of this building is symmetrical. That tower is duplicating the one behind me. Changed the costumes a bit, and this looks like it might have been a couple of 100 years ago. Spectacular. This would look almost anywhere in one of those big homes in Jackson. It's such a gorgeous piece of work, including the little cabinet-like structures on either side.
The entrance is from, like, we need to go.
And this motif apparently goes all the way around this arch. These probably reflect legends relevant to certain cities like Seville, which is near Madrid, and the personages involved. And this is entitled The Conquering of Badajoz. And here you can see the Muslim ruler probably kneeling in supplication. The gates are open, although otherwise it looks rather peaceful. There, Barcelona. And then above each of these is a coat of arms, perhaps that of the conqueror, the leading figure in the picture below. Near the city of Burgos on the Camino de Santiago. And this is called Plaza de Espangna, the Plaza of Spain. Look at how pretty this bridge looks, and it probably looks that way for decades, if not centuries, because it's tile. There, no doubt, the king's coat of arms, or at least one of the king's coat of arms. And this is interesting because it does look very, very old and unrestored, giving us a clue that maybe the others we've looked at are quite restored. It's also different in design. 3 panels, no mention of a city. And here below it, a map of Spain. So this map looks like it's defining Sevilla Romana, which probably means what was the county or the equivalent of that under Rome. See some of the Roman artifacts there, like the double-tiered aqueduct. So this alluding to Don Quixote by Cervantes. So on this side of the lower sections, it looks like this motif follows through, that there's map for each of these panels, and the panels representing that county or that division, if you will. There of Cordoba, surrounded by the others, including Sevilla. This one for Coruna, I remember seeing this on the maps as I was walking the Camino, is the last part of it. Actually, it's more than the last part. There's Santiago, you see there, lower middle, and then Negriera. That was on the lower route, which I didn't take, to get to Finisterre, which is the one over here on the left, the farthest. I went to Murcia, which would have been north, probably where that says Moremi. And then up above, on the space between each of the arches, is what looks like a ceramic bust of an individual. And of course, who these individuals are, maybe you would think it logical they're related to these panels. Now you may notice that what we've looked at so far is less than half of the overall length of this square's architectural arch, if you will. Here is the main centerpiece. With double towers, double story. Chromatic symmetry, this fountain, dead center, huge fountain, dead center in the middle of the square, aligned to the center of the entire complex, right between those 2 bridges. Wow. And then lined up also is this major thoroughfare through this beautiful park. Kind of fun to stand here and feel the mist blowing on me, and probably the lens. Fountains are so magnificent, like falls. It's fun to try to imagine how this was used for its greatest moments of pomp and ceremony. Did people arrive here in their carriages, as well as underneath that area between the 2 bridges? Did great people make great speeches from up there? Or perhaps even higher up? Here beneath this peristyle of arches, great carriages like we saw in the museum might arrive. Here a different perspective of the symmetry. So the interior of this building is actually the sub-delegation of the government in Seville. And on this side of the railing are, again, it looks like the coat of arms of the individual cities in various places, like Ibero or Iberia, it says. But Pamplona, of course, was one of the first towns you get to on the Camino de Santiago. And there, looking down, you can see. So whoever designed this did a very clever conceptual job. Here, a grand stairway, probably halfway in between, the main center exterior stairway and the middle exterior stairway. I mean, the ones that are out that I videoed earlier. Again, notice this Christian design here. It's light Gothic arch on pillars. I wonder if this was how the interior looked, at least as to these glass-filled arches. I'm guessing maybe not. The arches, yes, but the glass-filled, maybe not. So I'm standing at about the limit of the architectural structure we were in, and I'm down into the park a bit, but I'm looking to my left away from the structure, and it seems to go almost indefinitely. Further and see if there's something. But a gorgeous park in the sense of foliage. I've seen big parks before, but this has truly rich foliage. Very pretty. And it's a combination of asphalt on these main streets and the regular dirt walkways, as opposed to all dirt that we saw in, I think it was Lyon. Here we're about to walk onto the island of the parrots, or that could just be birds. Pretty water feature, this green. And it extends and wraps all about here, so we'll go down that. And there are a great number of these pure white pigeons, which is interesting that they don't end up interbreeding with the others. Notice when I continue my pan, here's a lovely reflection pool, and down beyond it, another water feature, and I'm guessing way beyond that, still more. This cute little water feature with frogs, that's fountains. And then at the next level, another reflection pool, and beyond that, another set of water features. And over here, more controlled gardens. We'll walk down through this arbor. This is very much when I go hiking in a place I've never been. You keep being drawn into more and more, farther and farther into wherever it is you are, by the next thing that looks alluring. And still it continues further down, looking in the direction that was the left from the structure we were at. Now following the axis that that fountain was on, going away from that building, you can see we're getting close to traffic, so we're getting to the limit of the park. You see a multitude of bicycle tracks, so not only do vehicles occasionally use this for whatever the reason, although I don't see any other than horse-driven. They could, but bicycles certainly do. And way down there, if you look, you can see traffic moving, so that's probably where I came in. where that roundabout is. Some vehicles get access and priority. This is the continuation of that one water feature that I first encountered with the geese in this pretty little gazebo island. Isn't that lovely place to sit and chat and tryst. And Mr. or Mrs. Beautiful, wood duck I think it's called. Not sure what they call it, or if it's the same duck. That water feature appears just to be a complete loop. Black and white getting along. Here a little fountain and a six-sided star, pointed star. When you're under huge trees like this that have nuts on them, and these do of some sort, continually you hear the sound of those nuts falling. I suspect it's only a question of time before one hits me. Here we are on the central axis. So I'll give a little understanding what's going on. The cathedral is what I visited this afternoon. That's in the lower left-hand corner. Then I walked to the right and into that little triangular-shaped park. And then from there I walked towards the northeast and went to that Plaza de Espangna, which is in the upper right-hand corner. Then traveled all down through the park, which is in the lower right-hand corner. And now I'm back, gone through this little park again that you see in the center. And I'm now working my way over to where you see my circle that's indicating my hostel. So I'm just going to work my way through these back streets, which should keep me away from the tourists, which should be able to find me a restaurant at a reasonable price. To give you the idea of tourist inflation, I had an ice cream cone, 1 scoop, had the same one in Lisbon yesterday for $1.80. Had exactly the same one, same company. Here it was $2.50. So I'm paralleling the cathedral now, and I got to work off to the left a ways, which is what I'm going to try and do now. Here we go through an arch underneath a building, probably somebody's residence or whatever. And then we'll hang right up here past this brick building. Well, I found some additional restaurants, but I doubt they're less expensive because they still look touristy, so I'm going to find a place up here I can make another left turn, jog over a little bit deeper into what should be non-tourist area. The side streets. The problem is with Spain, since it's their tradition to shut down until 1 o'clock or something like that, or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just for businesses. And sometimes, I think it was true in Santiago, they don't open the restaurants until 7 or 8 o'clock. This is a man who was begging. You can see his cup there. He apparently just got so tired he just fell asleep. It's a very pretty house. Older what it looks like. But I'm not sure. It's a house where they say there's children inside. There's also the abogado, which is the office of lawyers. But look how pretty this is. Imagine doing this style as an entryway into a house in Jackson. This is a small hotel entrance. Here a very pretty little square in the town, right near where the hostel is.